guys? This is Brian,
Susan, and Dave
from 3-Player Co-op, and you're listening to a podcast specializing in sports, life, and shenanigans, the Modern Maverick Podcast. Check out our podcast on iTunes. 3-Player Co-op, proving that while 2's a party, 3 helps you get things done. That wasn't bad.
Oh, it's time for another episode of the Modern Maverick Podcast with the Maverick, JFlynn. Life, sports, shenanigans. Let's do this, fuckers. Oh, shit. It's that time of week again. Time for another episode of the Modern Maverick Podcast. Episode number 23. I am your host, the Modern Maverick himself. And sitting in front of me, looking always so sexy, is JFlynn. What's up, my friend?
Hello, sir. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Beautiful summer Saturday.
Fuck, I'll drink to that.
Cheers to that. All right.
About time we get some nice weather.
Fuck. It's summer hasn't been that nice this year. It's
well, it was, and then it kind of got shitty. At the beginning? Beginning of August, I guess. The first couple of weeks of August were kind of nasty. Got a little cold.
My same week of my vacation.
Yeah. See, my vacation just ended in time, apparently.
Yeah, I came back to Montreal. I had a few days of nice weather. Went golfing. We didn't talk about this last week, but I went golfing with Mike and Rem and Dave. And first time in about 10 years since I had picked up the clubs. And I shot not bad. I shot a 110.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to talk about that, because I've been golfing since I'm like 14 years old, and I think I shot a 110 the last time I played. So, yeah, good for you, fucker.
It's funny because I back in like the mid 2000s, early 2000s, I bought myself a set of used golf clubs from the back of a trunk.
From the back of a trunk.
I worked with this guy. And I'm like, I think I want to get into golfing. I've been going to the driving range, and I kind of get the hang of it. I think I could be good at this if I, put in time at the range and then actually played an 18 hole. And I'd like to play. I don't know. I knew a few people. I worked with a few people that played, and he's like, hey, I got a used set in my trunk. I'm not using. I'll give it to you for $100 with the bag. I'm like, all right, no problem. Mm-hmm. So I took it up for a summer. I went like 3-4 times, and I definitely didn't have the patience for it. I was even more impatient back then. But I enjoyed it. I was surprised that it's okay when you play golf to drink beer at 8 a.m. or at 7:30. I'm like, what is this? You want a beer? I'm like, it's 8 o'clock. Because I know it's golf. You can do it. It's okay. Yeah. I like this. Yeah. But I ended up doing it for one summer, and I ended up going, I think, once the following summer. I just didn't have time, and I kind of lost interest. So that was the last time I sold the clubs, and I got rid of everything. And when I came back from vacation with Mike, I'm like, you know what? Let's go golfing. I said, let's go on Friday or Thursday. And he called. I said, yeah, we'll go. He called Dave up. He's like, yeah, we'll go. And I'm like, I enjoy that. And had some fun. We went to a nice, couldn't name the club. It's in Terrebonne.
Oh, you played? Oh, La Versant?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's a good club. That's a nice course. Oh, they actually have a few courses there.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. I forget what we played. But it was nice. Played 18 holes. I did 110, and I hit some nice shots. And I was surprised with myself. We went to the driving range before. I haven't swung a club. Honestly, it had been around 10 years before I swung a club. And then it just, I guess, I don't know. I remembered how to swing a club.
You're a natural,
I'm like,
sir.
The fuck? I'm like, maybe if I put my time and effort in this, I could actually be good. I'm like, but holy shit.
That's funny. I often get the reaction when I talk about golf, which I often do when I'm at work, especially because, it's usually what I look forward to on the weekends, other than doing this fine podcast, of course. And I always get, you play golf? Really? You're a golfer? So I can only imagine what kind of reactions you'll get if you become a full-time golfer. Mind you, minus the beard and the crazier hair, at least. So.
The funny thing is...
But you went golfing with the beard, did you
did.
Not?
And I was sitting in the cart just before we were teeing off, and this other dude with this big-ass goatee, long goatee, he didn't have a beard, just a long goatee.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart style.
He comes up next to me, he's like, you speak French? I'm like, yeah. He's like, in French, he's like, on a juste le droit à un pouilleux. par jour ici. I'm like it's only like one bump per day here. And we laughed it off. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like playing with the big beard and stuff. I'm like, that's not the typical. If I went to like this exquisite golf club, I don't think they would have even let me in.
I don't know if they have restrictions on facial hair. You know, they've got all kinds of other rules, right? When you go to a golf course, as far as the dress attire, proper attire is concerned.
It's always been funny where I've always been told, oh, you got to wear this, you got to wear that. I've always been curious of why when you watch professional golf on TV, it's illegal to use carts.
Yep.
You got to walk it off.
Yeah.
Well, walk it off. I mean, it's not that much. It's a nice stroll. Mm-hmm. I can understand that if you're playing professional on TV, all you'd see would be a bunch of carts just driving all over the place, right? And
imagine if they made them carry their own bag, though, like we have to.
That would quickly change, I think, the law against that. I think.
Yeah.
But I remember a few years ago, there was a guy that played golf. He had a condition.
Yes, and he was on the Nike tour. He could use a cart.
He got a permission to use a cart because he couldn't walk long distance. Yeah. And I was like, you play golf, but you can't walk long distance. Yeah. Like, you're not that.
Well, I guess with the whole no cart thing, they try to keep it. Let's try to emphasize that this is a sport. So let's not have our athletes, in quotation marks, driving around from shot to shot.
Let's make them walk. Yeah, they try to keep it genuine back to when they used to hit it with real, wooden clubs.
Yeah, actual wooden clubs.
Yeah.
Well, and you had guys like John Daly, and you don't see too many other athletes in other sports, with the shape of a John Daly or whatnot. Or Phil Mickelson a few years ago when he had his bitch tits in the gut,
He's a bit more in shape now.
Yeah, and that made a difference in his game apparently too.
Very much so. But he still suffers from a lot of ailments, though. They talk about it when I actually watched the PGA Tour, the last what was the big one where Rory McIlroy won
last
there.
weekend, the tour championship? Or?
Yeah, PGA Championship. That's the last major of the year, right?
I think so, yeah.
And I was watching the Sunday night, and I got home after dinner with my mom's, and they were playing the last, probably last 6-7 holes. And it was tight. So I'm like, you know what? I went to play golf that was actually the Sunday after my vacation, after I went to play golf. I'm like, I can enjoy this for maybe an hour. Yeah. So I watched it, and they were talking about it. He, has either back problems or knee problems. He's always getting operated or something. But there was a bit of controversy actually at the PGA Championship I heard about, where it was getting dark and they were going to postpone the last hole to the next day. But then the guy that was playing with Phil Mickelson, the young guy there, I forget his name, he told McIlroy and his buddy, his partner, that they could tee up at the same time. Oh. So they at the last hole, they all teed up 4 instead of 2.
Oh, really?
And then they played according, like if they were 4 instead of 2.
Foursome.
Yeah. And apparently Mickelson didn't like that because he was tied. He was behind by 2 shots, but he thought that because McIlroy was in the lead, he thought he would get an advantage of McIlroy sitting on the last hole for 24 hours, thinking about how he could win and stuff. It might get in his head. And apparently he wasn't too happy about that controversy.
Yeah, apparently he's a bit of a prick.
Mickelson?
Yeah, I've heard he's not the nicest guy on the tour.
They win shitloads of money too for winning tournaments, right?
A lot of money in golf. Yes.
I heard the winning one for the Canadian Championship was like $2.6 million. Is that possible?
That could very well. That's probably the entire purse, right? That doesn't go to the winner. Usually, when you see the number like the $2.6 million Canadian Open, it means that's the total purse.
And how many people get paid out?
Everyone gets something. Everyone who makes the cut gets a certain amount. It could be as little as
it's
$7,000.
It's like the World Series of Poker, where even if you finish in 24th place,
pretty much,
you get like $100,000.
Yeah, and like a chip and a free room at the casino, a free room at the hotel,
so they can try to win their money back.
Yeah, that's it.
Isn't it weird how they work casinos? You go there and win, and then they offer you all free rooms and come back. So
come back and spend your money and
exactly,
give it back to
so
us.
they can try to get their money back.
Yeah, give us back your winnings.
Wow.
But it's a polite way of doing that, I guess.
I always enjoy going to casinos, but every time I'm in a casino, I always get that feeling of like, ugh. Like it's that weird feeling that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah.
like there's a lot of sadness in this place right now.
Yes. I'm not a big fan of casinos. I've only been to the one here in Montreal twice, I think, in my lifetime. Last time I went was maybe 10 years ago.
Really? We went, me, Mike, and Dave last year at some point. We've been a couple of times because Dave used to work there.
Yeah.
He used to be
yeah, and he's a bit of a degenerate gambler.
Well, I could easily be a degenerate gambler if I wasn't careful and disciplined somewhat. Because I'll be honest, if it wasn't all the way downtown and so hard to go at and so far, like it's not that far. It's still in Montreal.
It's a bitch. It's on the
last few times I went there, you get stuck in traffic every time.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, if it was right next door, I'd probably be there often. I love to gamble.
Yeah.
And I have to be careful. But every time I'm in there, I'll walk by there. There's one place, one section where you walk through from like the main section towards the poker tables. And there's this corridor with all these slot machines. And it's the 25 cents or $1 slot machine. So it's like not expensive slot machines, and every time I walk there, the lighting is different. It's way more illuminated so you can see everyone. And I always see like old men or women or older just there, just feeding the machine. And you can see in their face that like, oh, I've just spent probably like $500 today and I've won nothing.
Yeah.
And that despair and that,
you see those people though at the video poker machines too, though, at the bars and stuff.
Yes.
I remember back in the day when we used to hang out at the Scratch a lot. And there was always the people like, it's the middle of the afternoon.
And
it's
there's a guy
1
just
p.m. That dude's been pressing those buttons
feeding
since like
the $20 and
he
he goes back to the bar and makes change.
Yeah, it's sad. He knows all the waitresses by name.
How many times they win? They do win, but man, most of the time, fuck. Yeah. And one thing that I got detracted about the gambling. One last thing, I totally forgot. But feeding the machine in those things, it's the worst thing you could do is play the machines, I think. Yeah. Your odds of I've won a lot, especially in the bars sometimes. I'll put 20. I've been lucky where I go out almost with $200 and I put on 20. It's happened a few times, not just once or twice, but a few times where I'll put 20 and end up with about 100 or 200. And I'm happy. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Feels good. But many times where I go, I'll put 20 and then I'm like, I'll just put another 20. And then it's $60 later. I'm like, okay, I got to go home.
Dude, I knew a buddy in Quebec City who we went to a bar. We were not there for 20 minutes. I think he'd already dropped $200 in the machine. Like literally 20, and it's $20 a shot, like each game, the one with all the, where there's the rows with the bells and the, and then you can do a crisscross. You can go up and down every single direction times 2.
Yeah.
And he was one of those guys. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, because if you max bet that game, it's like
max
$20.
Bet
it's
time.
Like 3 or 4 rolls. If you don't win, you're out of the $20. And
I was like, dude, come on, like spread it out a bit, have some fun, like let's make a game of it at least, like at least you're doing something with your time as opposed to just like, oh, there's my money, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, pissed away. In
every
shot.
line is 25 cents. You got games that every line is 5 cents. I play those games. The $20 lasts longer.
Yeah.
Even though I don't win anything, at least I get to play for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
Of 30 seconds where I'm like, play. Fuck.
I think it's ridiculous that we trust these machines to think that they're playing a fair game with us.
I've been told that they can set it to how much they pay out percentage wise.
There you go.
And it's always the same thing. We've heard it many times. Is that if you keep your eye on the machine for an hour and it doesn't pay out, it's bound to pay out.
Yeah.
That's why they have these people at casinos that just lurk and they watch somebody deposit $1,000 into a machine that doesn't pay out, and they sneak in, they put $20 and then boom, it pays out. Yeah. It's percentage, it's the luck, it's bound to pay. They're by law, there's a certain percentage that they have to pay back. And these machines can be adjusted. Yeah. Now, who has the right to adjust those machines? Probably only here in Quebec, it's the government that controls all that.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that the government controls the lottery? I've always been, because it's so, especially in a corrupt nation
especially
like us,
this province.
Holy fuck.
Yep.
The $6.49 every time you buy tickets. I'm like, sometimes they go 7-8 weeks without nobody winning the jackpot. I'm like, the odds of going almost 10 weeks, it just keeps building. 20 million, 25, 30. Now it's 50 million. It's like $50 million. And it hasn't been won in 8 weeks. The odds of nobody picking the right numbers in 30 million people that play the lottery. I wouldn't say 30 million because we're only 34 million here. But tickets sold, I'm assuming there's, Christ, it's $5. It's now $5 a ticket almost now.
Is it really?
If you play that... it's not the 649, but the
Lotto Max.
Lotto Max.
Is that what it is? I don't know.
I think it's $4 or $5 for if you get like 4. It's $1 per line basically.
Okay.
I think. Plus you get the extra if you want to play the extra. Lotto. Oh,
I don't know. That's another thing. I don't do. I've maybe bought 1 or 2 lotto tickets in my lifetime. I find it amusing how people will play the lotto when it's a bigger when there's a bigger amount of money to win, right? But
their odds are lower.
The odds are lower because then, of course, everybody else is doing the same thing.
I always buy a ticket when
it's buy a ticket when it's like 1.6 million.
That's
buy
it.
that one
because there's only 6 people buying that one.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I've got a shot.
It's funny because I always think about that. When I see the $50 million jackpot won, I'm like, I'm buying a ticket next Wednesday.
That's it. When
it's back to 2 million because nobody's buying that because I'm like, I spent all my money. And sometimes I see these and it's old. I'm sorry. I always see older people. They show up at the counter at the dep with their little flat. They open it up book. And they're like, here. And they buy like $80 worth of $6.49 in tickets.
That's what they're doing with their
like,
pension.
Here. I'm like, oh my God. And people at work, they buy in the group ones. I don't participate anymore in those.
No, the group lotto with that work and stuff, yeah.
They push it like it's drugs, man. Like, come on, it's just $2. It's just $2. Why are you selling this shit? Are you gonna cut from the fucking lotto? Or what's the matter? I don't want to pay, number one, because I don't want to share my money with 9 other people at work. Yeah, because then I'm gonna be attached to these people for the rest of my life. Yes, think about that.
True.
You play lotto with 10 people from work for people I'm not saying I don't like the people I work with, but there's a lot of people that don't. No. Then you win the lotto with these 10 other people at work, or 20 or 30, and you're attached to these people the rest of your life.
Because it's usually not one payout, right? You can pick it like a yearly payout and end up getting more in the long run, I think. Or if you take it in one lump sum, you get taxed like 90% of it, I think. I think you're left with about $18.
In Canada, there's no taxes on lotto.
There isn't when you really?
No. I believe there's no tax in the States.
In the States,
like Powerball, like you can win up to $400 million.
Jesus,
the biggest. Let's check it out because Powerball sometimes goes up to like $200-300 million.
Fuck.
Yeah, biggest Powerball winner here.
I'll laugh if they show a fat person with a check. Google does not understand your question.
It's generally considered blah, 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 blah. Rank number 1, jackpot. Mega Millions, March 30th, 2012. There's 3 winners. One in Kansas, Illinois, and what's MD?
MD, Maryland. Largest cash payout in world history.
So the jackpot was $656 million.
Holy crap.
It says largest cash payout in world history, $474 million. So I believe you could take it per payments or take it in one lump sum.
I'm taking that lump sum.
But you probably, if it's $650 million, you probably only get, like $200 million?
Oh, Crimea River, only.
So they tax in the States.
Because your life expectancy it drops drastically when you've got that kind of money, right? You're living in a different lifestyle. So I'm not going to make it till I'm 80. Why do I want the yearly payout? Give me it now.
Yeah.
Let me live.
But if you're my age and you win $600 million, you're like, what's every year? It'd be more controllable, though.
It would be, but it wouldn't be as much fun.
No, fuck no. But imagine if all of a sudden you're going on your...
My account goes from -450 to 250 million. No more overdraft.
Yes. How fast can you go through all that money?
Oh, man.
Seriously.
I don't know. Considering how I blow through a paycheck on a weekly basis, I think I could probably find a way to go through that money pretty quickly.
My God. It's amazing. It says here, amounts in Canada, amounts that are not taxed. You are not taxed on... Let's see what amounts you're not taxed here. Lottery winnings in Canada, you're not taxed.
Really? I guess because it's run by the government. Is that how? That's why. Or
because it's like in Canada, if you are gifted something, or so if I have I'm a millionaire and I want to give you $10,000.
Yeah.
I give it to you as a gift. You don't pay taxes on that $10,000. But if I give you 10 grand to I'll say build me a computer program, then you have to pay taxes because that's revenue.
Okay.
But gifts aren't revenues.
So are we not taxed on like game show winnings either? Because I know in the States that's a big thing too, right? Like if you want to take home that car from the Wheel of Fortune, well, you got to pay like $5,000 in taxes.
Not only
right?
that, but you have to pay. I had a friend that her father won the whole kibosh on the Price is Right.
Really?
Yeah. He won. He went to the end and he won that.
Really?
Yes. And he had all this stuff. You could take the cash payout or he had won, I think, like something like
the Showcase Showdown.
That's
he
it.
Won the Showcase Showdown.
I think he won like a pool table and all this shit. He couldn't bring that back to Canada. He was in California.
Oh, and he was living in Canada
No,
too?
yeah. He just went there on vacation.
Oh, fuck
He was
yeah.
like, I'm going there on vacation. I'm going to Price is Right. I've been watching Price is Right all my life.
And he ended up winning
He
all
fucking ended up winning everything.
So what did he do?
He ended up taking the cash.
He just took out the cash.
And he had to pay taxes when he came back to Canada on that amount.
Yeah.
Because he was a non-resident of the United States, they give you the old amount or the cash payout, but the cash payout is nothing.
No.
I mean, you win a car that's worth $24,000, they'll give you $14,000. I think they give you like the used, like what it would be as a used car.
They also give you an Applebee's gift card.
That they could do, which we don't have Applebee's in Canada, so you're
So you gotta eat before you cross the border. You know, go for a celebratory dinner.
It's crazy because also life insurance amounts. It says here most amounts received from a life insurance policy following someone's death.
Okay.
And I worked in that kind of business, and I tell you for a fact that if you get $100,000, I believe only the first $10,000 is taxable. So the rest is not taxable.
Oh, really?
So it's in the States though. It's a totally different story. I think everything is taxed to the gills.
Really?
You win the lotto, you get taxed to the gills. Like gills. I mean, you get 100 million, you get 50 or 40 million. Even if you only got 10 million at the end of the day, you'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
I paid a lottery ticket for $4 and ended up getting $10 million. You know, we can all imagine what it would feel like, but holy fuck, man.
We can dream. We can dream.
It's yeah. So back to what brought this story up was the casino thing.
Casino went from golf to casinos to lottos.
But yeah, so golfing was fun.
Yeah.
That's the point of the moral of the story is that golf is fun, and you can make a lot of money if you go pro.
Yeah,
you know, it's probably one of the sports. No, like if you look at Tiger Woods earning without all the things he made.
Without sponsorship money, you mean just what he's made from tournament winnings?
Wow,
that's a lot of money. I don't know. Maybe what's your guess? What do you think? How much Tiger Woods' career
earnings?
Yeah, earnings. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
How long has he been playing golf?
I don't know. 15 years. Now?
I say about $96 million.
Okay, this gotta include sponsorship money. When I hear $1.3 billion,
yeah, that's sponsorship.
Yeah, that was back in 2009, actually. Let's see if we can find this. Maybe Wikipedia will tell us. Wikipedia tells me everything, so we get all my answers now. Dun, dun, dun. Like he's 38 years old now. Tiger Woods getting old.
Yeah, do you think he's gonna beat?
Remember when he was a kid? Fuck.
Yeah.
He's gonna beat. Oh, here we go. No, where's this? I don't know. There's so many words on my computer screen right now. So many words. Career achievements. Bum, bum, bum.
It says that $1.3 billion, 88% of it is from endorsement.
Okay, found the number. You said 90 million?
96.
Fuck, you're very close. And Price is Right rules, you would win because you're under $109 million.
Wow.
Actually, almost 110. 109.6.
So $100 million to play golf.
He's made over 10 million 3 times in a single year.
Wow.
Wow,
Think about that. But then you get guys like Michael Jordan that made $25 million in 1 year for playing basketball.
Yeah.
And you got guys that do that now regularly.
Everybody does that now, apparently. It's the
no
norm,
names.
right?
I've seen guys in the NBA teams. I don't even know this guy.
Yeah,
He's
who is
making
this guy?
$20 million.
I know.
And then you got LeBron James that doesn't even make $20 million.
Well,
he
because,
does now.
Well, yeah.
But it's the endorsement deals.
Yeah. Well,
he makes like $100 million every year because of endorsement
well,
deals.
that's it. Well, just look what we said with Tiger, right? From $100 million in earnings,
To
$1.3 billion
billion
after sponsorship. I mean, that's insane. It's 10 times.
And how much money did he lose when he got fucking caught screwing all these hookers?
Well,
All these endorsements that dropped him.
yeah.
Didn't Nike drop him? They didn't drop him.
No, Nike never dropped him. Buick, I think, dropped him. I think it was
There's
Buick.
a watch company too. I think Tag Heuer or
Yeah,
something
one
like
of
that.
those
That
Tissot,
dropped him.
Tag Heuer or whatever.
Do you remember when they signed Rory McIlroy and Nike gave him that big endorsement deal? And then he started tanking right away.
Yeah.
And I was like, this kid's career is over. He can't deal with pressure. Right away, you could tell the kid couldn't deal with pressure.
It was the woman that was holding him down, though.
And then he fucking dumps his girlfriend, and all of a sudden, who's this girl?
She's a tennis player. Caroline Wozniacki, isn't that her?
That's his girlfriend.
I believe so.
Talk about tennis players. How about Eugenie Bouchard? She fell from high above.
Yeah. Well, she's ranked 7th, I think,
For
seed
the US
Open.
for
But
the
yeah,
US Open.
she got blown out right out of the gates here in Montreal at the
And
Canadian
then
Open.
she just lost
the Connecticut Open in Connecticut, lost in the second
and
round.
she still lost like 6-2, 6-2, which is not good.
No.
Because that means you're getting broken, 4 times? 3 times.
Yep.
And in tennis, for people that don't understand, break point, it means that you're not serving. Because when you're, it's amazing how a sport there's such a big advantage by the person serving or the person, because you don't see that in any other individual sport.
No.
If you think about it, golf, you don't get an advantage for anything. You just player.
Golf, no.
But tennis, there's an advantage if you're serving or if you're not serving.
But it goes both ways, right? It's not like you
Obviously,
get to
it does
serve.
go
It's
both
not like
ways.
you get
Yeah,
to serve more often if you're better.
At the end, it's 50-50, you know? But she...
Yeah, Wozniacki, by the way. Yes,
Yeah?
that's correct. Yeah, tennis player.
And he dumped her, and then all of a sudden, he's playing good golf.
Boom, he's back on top of the world. He's right behind Tiger already, or he's tied with Tiger, I think, for most major wins at his age. So
20, what was he?
Was he 25?
24, 25?
No.
Rory.
But that's unbelievable to think, because I remember when Tiger was on top of the world, everyone was like, we'll never see another golfer like this again.
I thought he was going to blast through Nicklaus's record.
Yeah.
Remember the year he won? He won 3 majors, and then he won.
And then he won the first one the next year, right? He won 4 in a row, just not within the same year.
He won the last 3 and then the first.
Yeah.
And they say, but that didn't really count.
No,
Nicklaus
they call it the Tiger Slam, I think, or something. They gave it its own.
Did Nicklaus win all 4 majors in 1 year?
I don't know. That's a good question. You gotta start asking me questions I know answers to.
Google.
This isn't professional.
Sorry, guys. Jack.
Yeah, major wins 1 year.
4 major wins. Grand Slam tennis, no.
Found an article here that says Jack Nicklaus says Rory McIlroy can win 15 or 20 majors.
And it's 18 that's the record, right? And Tiger has 14. There's no way he's winning 4 majors.
4-1.
He's done. He hasn't played golf consistently in 2 years, 3 years. Injuries and hookers and divorce, and he's got nothing to lose. He's pretty accomplished. Have you seen his girlfriend? I mean, come on. Jesus Christ.
It's an accomplishment in itself.
She's that skier, right? Lindsay
Vaughn.
Instead of writing golf, I wrote gold. I'm like, I don't get it. Grand Slam. So Grand Slam is what? It's 4
U.S., British, PGA Championship, and the Masters.
Yeah. So Bobby Jones, pre-Master era, has most Grand Slam titles, so 13. Master era, you got Jack Nicklaus. He's got, so Jack Nicklaus has 18 Grand Slams, Career slams 3. So Tiger Woods, same thing. Ugh. Yeah. Nobody's won all 4 majors in the same
It's never
year.
happened. No. There you go.
It's pretty hard. It's probably one of the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, considering, everybody, if you're a golfer, on an amateur level, how it is, how hard it is to, hit that same
There's
shot.
so
every
many
fucking
players,
time. And
though,
even on a
that's
pro
the
level,
thing.
when you see guys one tournament not make the cut, and then all of a sudden he's in the top 10 the
Yeah.
weekend after, right? It's like, they're kind of like us, just on a different level, but the inconsistency is the same.
Consistency in golf is compared to any other sport. That and tennis,
Yeah.
to me, are 2 sports that it's very hard to be consistent all the time.
Well, yeah, the individual sports, right?
It's fucking ridiculous.
when
man.
you think about them, what other...
But if you look at like boxing, which is considered an individual sport.
Well, yeah, but no, right? Because you're
There's a
training.
team,
There's a
there's a
team when you
team,
train and stuff, right? You can't train for golf as a team.
No, you're right. There's
can't-
nobody there challenging you one-on-one in practice.
they
You're
can
right.
only show you what to do. At least tennis, it's one-on-one. You're hitting it back and forth to each other. But golf, it's really you do your thing, I do my thing. It really doesn't affect other than the mental game. As far as he just hit a fucking crazy shot there.
Golf is extremely mental.
yeah. Oh, it's
And
all
then when
mental,
you start fucking up, you're done. You
Yeah.
get it. It gets into your
Everybody
head.
should golf on Xanax.
Yeah. Do you golf better when you're,
A little bit depends. Yeah, it calms me down. It depends what
I was
kind of day
talking to
I'm
Mike,
having.
and he says that Rem was playing with us, and he's like, Rem sparks it up, like, and like we're like in 3rd or 4th hole, because he was playing like shit, and all of a sudden he starts playing well. He's like, every fucking time he sparks it up, and then he fucking takes a few tokes, and then he starts playing well. And then Mike says, I take a few tokes, and then I start tanking. He's like that. That's what they do every time. If I play well, because Mike's a good
getting very
fucking
good,
player.
yeah.
He broke 85. He had 85 this year.
Yeah,
twice.
I'm not playing with him anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's 95 when I play with him.
As soon as you start playing that kind of golf, it's like, no, I need a new partner now.
It's
Can't
like,
compete
wow.
with that.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
But Dave actually had 90 when we played,
Yeah.
which
Well,
I think
Dave's
was
a
one of
special
his
case.
best.
He was ready to quit at the beginning of the season. He thought we were all turning into these incredible golfers. So he was intimidated to come play golf with us. He's like, I'm not in it anymore. I'm not into it anymore. Then he found out we're not such superstars, except maybe Mike's, who's doing very well.
Yeah.
So he goes and plays around a few weeks ago, shoots a 90-something. Oh, loves golf again.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
It's
that's
amazing.
golf, folks. You hate the fucking sport when you suck. You love it when you hit a good shot or you put up a decent score.
On the 18th hole, I chipped in for par. Chipped in right from
you
the
chipped it right in.
Yeah,
Oh,
from
look
the
at you.
green, from the cusp there, right there.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
and it went. I'm like, oh, holy fuck!
Look at you.
Putting is probably chipping
Putting
is actually I was utterly surprised with my chipping, because I remember when I played 10 years ago, I couldn't chip.
Yeah.
I didn't know the mechanics.
Yes.
It's
all
either
the
I
mechanics,
fucking dug a hole like this big, or I swung and
Kinda hacked it.
like just grazed the ball on top, so the ball would just like fucking flip over. I'm like, I can't do this thing. Like the practice shot is amazing. You just when you swing and you just cut the first inch of grass, you're like, yeah. And then when you fucking do it right under the ball, you look down and there's like this much of the fucking frish that's gone. You're like, what the hell? So actually, chipping I was surprised. I was like, oh my god, this is good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Putting is very challenging. In
Yeah,
golf.
putting's a bit. It's crazy to think that you might have been able to drive the ball 300 yards, but
when it comes to inches,
each little inch it counts for the same amount of strokes, right?
The greens are
crazy.
amazing though. At first I was like, I barely lifting it up, and it would fucking. I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, the mechanics don't work for me. I barely touched the thing, and it just kept going. Like it's going, and it wasn't like on a hill or anything. It was just going and going. I'm like,
fast greens.
so. But I enjoy it, and I think next summer I'll take it up earlier, and I might invest in a starter,
starter kit.
clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, little clubs. Buy it secondhand. I looked on Kijiji. You can get for a couple $100. You can get a pretty good set. You know,
Kijiji. How did they come up with that name?
I never really.
Kijiji.
It's made up. It's nothing, right?
I don't think so, unless it's like Inuit for sell me some shit.
It does mean something though. It has
does?
to do.
I don't know.
But Kijiji meaning.
I always thought it was a very bizarre name for an eBay type. What would you call that kind of site?
Well, it says Kijiji is a centralized network of online urban communities for posting local online classified advertisements. It is a subsidiary of eBay. So it's
So it's owned by eBay.
Owned by eBay. Launched in 2005. See, where does the name Kijiji? Kijiji is available in the States too. It's not only in Canada, is it?
I used to think it was, but apparently not. No.
No, Craigslist is, but
Craigslist is everywhere.
That's right. Yeah. So there's over 100. The word Kijiji, meaning village in Swahili.
Oh, it's Swahili. There you go.
This name was chosen because it captures the essence of what we are creating, a site where people can connect with others and their local community.
It's also a site that you can easily fuck up on your URL. Is that an I or a J? I can't. There's so many dots and lines. Why do I have to have so many consecutive I's and J's?
Yeah, like when you type super fast and you're like, this doesn't work.
Oh, I'm horrible at that. I'm a quick typer, but my thing is I always put the vowel before the consonant when I type fast. So like had becomes AHD.
Yeah.
And have becomes AHAVE, or VE. Yeah, that's my thing. So yeah, a word like Kijiji, I often fuck it up. Thank God for when your computer knows what you're trying
Google,
to type, right?
It's like, did you mean Kijiji?
Did you mean yes? That's what I meant, asshole.
Throw your fucking computer.
So rude, man. Nothing worse than a computer with an attitude.
Yeah, I use Kijiji a lot. I've sold a lot of shit on Kijiji.
Yeah.
I bought a few things, but I sell everything I need to get rid of.
Probably sold your extra beard hair on Kijiji.
I did.
You could have, yeah. Sell it to a barber shop.
I didn't want to meet the person that wants to buy my beard hair.
No.
I'll buy your beard hair. Here you go. Thank you. I never want to see you. I don't even want to know what the fuck you're doing. Probably puts it on a doll.
I put it in a pillow.
Oh.
This podcast is taking a turn for the worse.
God damn. There's probably people that buy that shit though.
Oh yeah, there's some real weirdos out there, dude.
God damn, man. I want to talking about weird. I lost my train of thought. Yes, that's what I want to say. On Kijiji, they don't have this anymore, but they used to have personal ads. I don't think they do much anymore, but you could. It's like Craigslist. Remember Craigslist? You could basically find anything.
Oh yeah,
any type of woman or any type of guy that
you can find a drug dealer on Craigslist.
You really?
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah,
like still today.
Secret code words. Book rentals.
I guess if you do,
look at something like that, renting books.
In quotation marks. Like that's the drugs right there.
That's the drugs.
Can I get some books, please? I deliver. Where do you live? You imagine? Yeah, I got books. I've
heard stories from people that are able to find weed dealers and like they visited a city. They were staying in Toronto, let's say, for a month.
Yeah.
Need a hookup. Go on Craigslist to find one.
Oh, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. I wonder how long it would take for us if you would get caught if you blatantly go on Craigslist and go looking for weed.
How often before somebody knocks at your door? Excuse me, sir.
Would cops actually spend time on those things?
Maybe the guy who's posting that he's got weed to sell, probably. They'd be trying to track him down, maybe.
Yeah.
If they're doing their job.
But
they're too busy protecting our protesting firemen, though, these days.
Protesting firemen?
Did you not see the shit storm that hit City Hall this week?
I saw something that really, really...
For our listeners and viewers who are not in Montreal, our police force is, and so all the social servants, right, are pretty much, you can't go on strike, so they're trying to protest in any way they can. So our awesome police force looked like clowns wearing red hats and camouflage pants.
I don't get that.
So that looks really professional. And they're sticking their stickers everywhere.
Their cars are filled with stickers.
Pressure tactics. Companies were hired to remove stickers from our tax-paying dollars funded police vehicles and whatnot, and basically union groups were there to kind of strong arm and intimidate them into not doing it. And so this week they stormed into City Hall in the middle of the democratic process.
Who stormed though?
The firefighters. They stormed right in. Started fucking
throwing
water.
But I saw pictures that they were like...
They were throwing papers. They vandalized City Hall. They interrupted while it was in session.
And that's
pouring water on their desks, basically. Yeah.
And the people that did this are firefighters.
Those were the firefighters.
That work for the city.
And the police force just stood outside watching
and
them.
did nothing.
This
I saw, and this disturbed me. Where there was like 10 cops at the corner of a building, and then right on the flip side of the building, on the other face, this guy was vandalizing the building.
Yeah.
Breaking a window, or I don't know what he was doing. He was vandalizing it. And 10 cops were just looking at him. Then they weren't stopping him.
No, not that I ever was a fan of the student protests, but the cops sure had a problem with all this disruptive vandalism and their tactics back then, right? They have no problem though seeing their own union members doing the same thing. I don't know. Denny Cabrera, our mayor, talked about guys possibly getting fired over this.
Well,
and,
I mean,
hopefully it does happen.
If they weren't going through the protest part of it, if everything was normal and all of a sudden firefighters, or there was a group of people and it just happened to come out that out of that group that does vandalize the city hall, there's 5 firefighters or cops, they would definitely get fired or something would happen. So why wouldn't it happen just because they're protesting? Because of what? Because they seem to think that, well, not seem to think, but because their pension plans were robbed and
they basically gotta pay money out of their pocket.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't be happy if my employer asked me to do that either, but you know what? They've had it good for too long, just like the students.
But every couple of years,
you had it too good for too long, and things change. Everyone's at a certain point. You've kind of got to readjust, and you kind of look around and say, well,
I've been living in Montreal for 8 years, and every 2 years I've seen cops in camo because of a protest, something. Because they're renegotiating their thing and this and that. I'm like, how many things do you want? Like, at a certain point, just do your job. Here's your job. Here's what it entitles. Here's your fucking money, which, let's face it, this includes bus drivers.
Yeah.
And if that's
another group that's been on strike every other year.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, but from what I hear, they make way more money than me driving a bus around. And the rule apparently is they can't even drive for more than 2 hours at a time. Yeah. And then they have an hour break or 2 hour break. Same thing with the metro, the people that drive the metro. They don't drive.
The conductor.
You fucking put a lever. It's on a track. You're barely doing. There's no wheel.
There's nothing.
You're just sitting there.
They don't even have to talk on the intercom anymore. They've got an automated message that tells you what station's
next. They check out women. That's what they do. Every fucking time there's a guy, every time it slows down there, I always at the beginning, most of the time, if there's a hot chick standing on the side, the guy's like, it doesn't
no
miss.
Shame,
No. I'm behind this force field. You can't enter into my bucket right here. Like, you can't. If you knocked on the door, they wouldn't even open you the door.
I used to get so envious of the bus driver and metro driver's lounge at Henry Bourassa, the terminal.
I've never been in.
When we used to go back from Laval to Montreal, so that's like where the first metro station is over the bridge, and they got like a pool table and all kinds of shit.
Are you serious?
And every once in a while, you'd catch, as somebody was walking in, you'd catch a glimpse with the door open, because they've got like the black glass, right, that you can't see through from the outside. And damn, they got it good over there. They had a nice, cool lounge, pool table. I don't know if they had a bar or something. Yeah, they're all getting hammered and driving buses.
Probably.
Probably.
I hate the mentality that every other year they have it good, but they don't have it good enough.
No.
Who do they base themselves on, though?
$25 an hour to drive a bus isn't enough, apparently.
Is it 20? Is it not even more?
25 would be enough for me.
But not only that,
sign me up.
When you work for a city like Montreal, you're made for life.
Yeah.
The pension plan, you get benefits up the a-hole.
Yeah.
You don't need another job. Yeah. Even if you hate working you
have an in with the mafia.
Jesus
automatically.
Christ, man.
You're like, you and Rizzuto like this.
Rizzuto. Does he still run the mafia in Montreal, you think?
Yeah, probably.
We shouldn't talk about him because I don't want to get shot.
No. He's awesome.
He's awesome.
Next subject.
When I was on vacation, they shot one of the gang. We didn't talk about this.
Yeah,
they shot one of the gang members.
What's his name there? Leader of...
was it the Blues? Like the Crips in Montreal at one point?
Yeah, what were they called? No, they were named after a bus that ran on Saint Michel, the 176ers or something. 177.
Oh, is that what it was?
Something like that was a number.
It was 67.
67, yeah. 67. And that's, and I was, why is it 67? They really liked Expo 67. Big fans of Montreal history. No, it had to do with the bus.
Most likely with the bus.
It's the bus number.
Most of them.
Yeah, but what's I don't remember his name, but yeah.
He was in hiding. Not in hiding, but they rumored that he had something to do with one of the risottos getting killed far ago.
Yeah,
not long ago.
Yeah, his nephew there, the one who got shot in NDG. Yeah.
They all getting killed, man. Isn't it surprising though that they're still? It's definitely the Montreal, Quebec as a province, but Montreal is probably one of the most corrupt cities in Canada.
Between the mafia, between the Hells Angels, though, I mean, toned down over the years, but still. I mean, we've got our own government officials are corrupt. Yeah. I mean, why hasn't a movie come out yet about all this?
At least our fucking mayor doesn't smoke crack.
At least.
There's a movie that's going to come out of Rob Ford before there's a movie that come out about Montreal.
Aren't they having like a musical? Isn't there going to be a play?
They're trying to make
they hired some guy. It looks kind of like him. Looks kind of like Rob Ford. Are you
serious?
Rob Ford still doing. God bless him. He's done the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah.
The have you done the ice bucket challenge / avoiding donations? Because
at the end you end up having to donate anyway.
I did, right? But do people understand this though? How it works? I kind of like tried to rant a bit online about it. I think I hit a sensitive chord with everyone.
I did too. I think I made a small joke about it on last week, and
I enjoyed nobody
really.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's my sensitive. Okay. Backbone.
So here's my understanding of how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right, because I did some research.
Okay. So I post a video and I say I'm going to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and I nominate you. Mm-hmm. Now I do the bucket challenge and then I nominate you. And I right now don't have to pay anything if I start it. Okay, so I challenge you. If you don't do the Ice Bucket Challenge, you have to donate the money.
You have to donate $100.
Is it $100?
That's what it's. If you deny the challenge, you donate $100.
Okay, but if you do the challenge,
you're still supposed to donate something.
And then the guy that nominated you now has to donate the $100
if he doesn't want to do it.
But I did it already.
Yeah,
and I nominated you.
Yeah.
If you do it, then I lose because you actually did it, and I have to donate the money.
No. That's not how it works.
So if I do the Ice Bucket Challenge after being nominated, I don't have to pay, and then I nominate somebody, and then
essentially the initial incentive here was, and they should have probably had something like stick a fork in a toaster. That would have got people to donate money because you don't want to put a fork in a toaster, dumping a bucket of cold water.
Everybody is going to want to do that on video.
Exactly.
Oh, it's super cool. It's
super cool. Let's find a cool way to do it. But the message kind of got lost, and man, not for everyone. I mean, there's obviously some that are actually sharing the link to how you can donate. Actually mentioning that it had what ALS is. It's not like some people. All I see is ALS ! And bucket of water on me. That's it. That's not how it works. So, but what it's supposed to be is I challenge you. If you can either donate $100 or you can dump the bucket. Okay. If you dump the bucket, you're still supposed to give, whether it's $1, $5.
So then it's your choice to not how much money you donate.
You're supposed to still give something. I mean, that's the point, is to make a donation.
But how many people at the beginning of when this started that donated squat?
No, and all they did was, let me think of a creative way to dump water on me, and let me challenge somebody. Yeah. And it just, like you say, it becomes a gimmick. It's slacktivism at its, at its core. That's essentially what it is. This is where the point we've reached in society, where the only way you can hope to donate something is that it has to become some sort of fad. Look at me, let's challenge each other. It has to be a competition. I mean, this is how you get people off their ass to, donate.
Here's
fine. Yeah. I mean, if that's how we are, this is the point we've reached in society, and sure, it's working. It's up to like $40 million in donations. 50 now.
50 million.
But I don't know. It's just, I mean, for every person who's doing it for the right reason, there's the other one who just thinks this is like a game that people are playing.
That's right. Here's my issue with the whole thing. I have many issues. There's definitely a big plus towards it, is the fact that awareness is being made. The gimmick is working, because normally a gimmick works. It's a gimmick. It's named a gimmick for a reason. The gimmick works.
Yeah.
It 50 million. I can't deny that $50 million towards a cause is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. The fact that, here's a few issues I have with it. The fact is that most people that do the Ice Bucket Challenge probably don't even know what ALS is.
Exactly.
What is ALS? If I fucking took 1,000 people that did the ice bucket challenge and put them in front of me and I said, please explain to me what ALS is, I guarantee you that 85% of those people, 850 of those people could not tell me what ALS is. They couldn't.
No, they'd say, it's Lou Gehrig's disease. What is Lou Gehrig's disease?
Exactly.
Lou Gehrig had it.
So that's one issue I have with the thing. The other issue is the fact that, like you explain, is that it's to a point where everybody's just doing it because it's a fad. It's a trend. It's not supposed to be trendy. It's supposed to have a purpose. The purpose is being made, but it's being lost in the trend.
Yeah.
It's being lost in the fact that everybody's fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, that sucks, but it did raise $50 million.
It's still, yeah.
What I hate about the whole thing, and it's the same thing with Movember. Somebody referred to Movember saying, I made a comment on Facebook, and basically my post went like this. I said, right now in the news, there's two big things in the news right now. The two big things are the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge and the Ferguson protest. And it said one of them has been going on long enough, and it's basic or blah blah blah.
Become ridiculous.
It's getting ridiculous, and the other one is the Ferguson riot.
Yeah.
And I got a few posts. I didn't get much hate, but somebody said, "Yeah, I like your post. Good point, but the Movember goes on for a month." Nobody rants about it, and this has only been going on since July 29th. And I said, good point. And I said, I participated 2 years ago in the Movember, and I said, I'll be honest, Movember is about 3 weeks too long.
Yeah.
Because then again, last year, I don't know if you noticed, but 2 years ago when I participated, the Movember was probably at its peak. It was in its second or third year of existence. And they had a website. Everybody was posting their link. Everybody had created a profile on the Movember website. Everybody was posting last year, the majority of people that let their beard grow or their mustache grow didn't even have an account where people could donate.
They weren't actually raising money.
They were just fucking growing a mustache.
Exactly.
Dude, if you want to grow a mustache, you can do it 365 days out of the year.
Move out on the plateau, buy yourself a pair of Birkenstocks, and join the hipster movement.
Like, that was also my point, is the fact that last year, after it peaked, I barely heard anything about the Movember movement. Although I did hear donations were being made, but I'd be curious to know versus 2012 versus 2013, the donations were probably a lot less because of the peak thing. Same thing with the ALS Bucket Challenge. I hate the fact that we have to come up with a gimmick for people to donate.
Yeah.
So why all of a sudden is ALS? Because somebody had ALS and said, we need to donate more money. He actually did it for the right cause, probably because it was somebody with the disease that thought that donating to the cause was a good idea. And then it just escalated into this marketing gimmick where at some point, somebody has to be making money off of this. And I read something that says that only about 27% of the donations go towards ALS.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how concrete that source is, but I read that the people, the person in charge of the ALS Foundation makes about $400,000 a year.
Yeah, I always love that. A nonprofit, yet their CEO is making
it's like
$500,000.
Yeah, they're a nonprofit, but they have $1 billion in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. But well, like you say, it's the fact that it's got to become a competition for people to compete.
I hate
the awareness. I don't know. People will know about it, but it's just the whole point was that it's supposed to be the bucket was punishment. The bucket was punishment for not donating. The game is not dump a bucket of ice water. But you want to know who's in on this? Who's making money? The people at Glacier who make those fucking bags of ice that you buy for $3 and everyone's dumping into their buckets.
Depanneurs are loving this
They
right now.
are loving it. The people
Corner stores.
I bet you next year, let's invest in ice cubes.
You know what? We should come up with a company next year that makes ice just for the ALS Foundation.
We can make it special.
Put a bag and
it comes in a bucket. The ice comes in the bucket all ready to go.
With a seal over it.
With a seal, just add water.
Sell it for $3 and you say $1 of each of these buckets goes directly to the ALS Foundation even before you dump it on somebody. There's our business.
Boom.
Fuck, we just gave it away. We have to patent that thing right now.
Like tomorrow. Like we should have done that yesterday.
But that's a good idea though. For a month, we'd probably make a killing. We wouldn't have to work for the next 11 months of the year. But how long is this challenge supposed to go on for?
For a month, I think.
No, but I've never heard about somebody putting a time limit. Are we just supposed to do ice buckets all the way till December?
Maybe. Well, then it would become more of a challenge again. It's too easy. Do the fork in a toaster challenge.
Yeah. Or the fork in the
fork in a socket. There you go. Just straight up do it. That'll discourage people.
Damn.
That'll get them to donate.
I saw something extremely funny yesterday. A post on Twitter, and it was something for cervical cancer. And it was, I forget what it was, but I wish I could remember what it was. I wish I could remember who posted it, but it was basically, the challenge was, I can't even say it because I don't know 100%, but it's something with cervical cancer, and it was something about cum. And the girl said, like, at least I'd be enjoying what's being dumped on my head. And it was like a cum challenge or something like that. And it was against cervical cancer. And the guy posted it this guy is like, I challenge all my girlfriends on Facebook to do this challenge. And it was something like that. But it's sad that a lot of people are making fun of this, which shouldn't be the point. But I think a lot of people are being frustrated because we're in an age where with social media, everything is being exposed. Everything like this is being magnified 1,000 times. And I get, like I said, I think we agree on the same term that it's too much. But I also, like I said, I think we both agree that it's for a good cause, but that it's just being so blown out of proportion that the majority of people they're just doing it so they could post a video of getting ice dumped on them. And then not, even if they donate, they're in their heart, they're getting more enjoyment of actually people posting comments on their video and saying,
they're doing it for likes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, good for you. Well, no, like I see that often. Oh, good for you. Well, hold on a sec.
It's not for me. I don't have ALS.
Yeah.
I gave you $100. I don't have ALS. And I guarantee if I did have ALS, I wouldn't be dumping ice on my fucking head. All right? Like, there's a video of this guy crying. Have you seen this video?
I didn't watch it.
I've
seen the picture,
My
but
girlfriend
I haven't
watched it.
Video.
And she watched it, and she was sitting on the couch, and he was going on and on about how he has ALS, how about his mom has ALS, and the whole thing was sad. But at the end of the video, I turned to my girlfriend. Am I a bad person for really not, like, yes, was he being genuine? I don't know that person. Maybe he was an actor just because somebody, I don't know if he was being genuine or not, or if he really has ALS.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wants to believe that people want to be genuine in donating money for a good cause, either it be cancer, ALS, prostate cancer, whatever the fact may be. But there's a part of me that think that our government should have a bigger part in funding these things when it comes for research against these fucking drugs. Because at the end of the day, if a foundation comes up with a cure for anything, even if it's not a cure, even if it's just a pill that's going to help you live longer, the government is going to be the one probably making the most money out of it, because there are regulations that are going to have to be set on that medication. So all the money that is invested in a cause is going to end up in the government's pocket anyway. Yep. So at the end of the day, why is the government not investing in their own fucking, in the cancer research, in ALS research? That to me is...
No money in a cure, right? It's the old cliche.
They'll give you a pill that'll make you live forever, but it'll never cure AIDS.
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing right now. Because there's no money in curing AIDS, but there's money in
lots of money in
making
treatment.
You live forever with it.
That's it.
Yeah. It's sad that we lived in that thing. It's really, really sad. And it's the same thing with medical marijuana. I think it's the same thing when it comes to medical marijuana. There's so much benefit against every fucking thing, that every ailment your body has, marijuana can either help you cope with it or can cure it. And the fact that the government in Canada, it's progressing rather fast, or a bit faster, I think. And I think within the next 10 years, we'll see medical marijuana like really take off, and which is a good thing. It's at the end of the day, it's a plant like anything else. I don't understand why. I mean, I've beaten this topic on the head for so long. I don't want to talk too much about it. But
yeah. Well, here we can talk something different about marijuana. We've talked about how Colorado has flourished, right?
Yeah.
How crime is down, how death accidents on the road, and deaths by vehicular accidents are down. Money's up. Tax revenue's up. However, one thing that is hurting is small businesses are being driven out by all these fucking
pot shops.
Pot shops.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I read an article, and yeah, little stores are basically being run out of town because it's. I mean, this may be the flavor of the month. Maybe 2 years, these pot shops are going to be fucking closing up shop too.
Well,
because
I think
eventually, like anything,
regulate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Eventually, it'll balance itself out. People will get,
People are excited right now. You live in a place where you can buy marijuana everywhere, so everybody's selling it. Everybody's trying to dip into that profit. But in a few years, where it's just going to become like cigarettes and booze.
Yeah.
It's just going to regulate itself.
That's it.
And those shops that are really only in it for the money are going to be weeded out. And the ones that are really legit trying to like sell a good product, not just a shitty weed or anything. Because basically right now, anybody with weed could just go and sell it and open a shop saying, I can grow and this much and this and that. Do you know how much money they made?
I remember it being, it was, wasn't it 90 million or something? I'm trying to remember. I remember reading the article. The number escapes me right now, but I think it was around the $100 million mark. Was it not?
6 months after marijuana legalization, Colorado tax revenue skyrockets as crime falls.
There you go.
Let me see here.
Love this blueberry beer, by
it's
the way.
awesome, huh?
For those who can see, Pump House Blueberry Ale.
From Moncton, New Brunswick.
There you
so
go.
Shout out to Pub House Brewery. From
Send us
Moncton,
a case or
New
two.
Brunswick. Yeah. We could use you as a sponsor.
We'll accept beer as payment.
Give us a few cases. Great beer. They sell in New Brunswick. Great restaurant too. They sell oven baked pizza, like a wood oven baked pizza. Amazing.
How does the wood not burn?
What?
The term wood oven.
How high are you right now?
I'm not at all. No, I remember as a kid when I heard wood oven, I'm like, how could you make an oven out of wood? That makes no sense.
It's the wood that's
burning. Wood
yes.
burning. I know. I
get
discovered
it.
that later.
Okay.
That's that joke while you do your research.
I was.
It's called stalling.
In the first 4 months, marijuana sales amounted to more than $202 million. About a third of them recreational. Taxes from recreational sales were almost $11 million.
That was
4 months.
That's only at 4 months.
4 months. Despite some critics' fear and pot-driven crime explosion, Denver police say burglaries and robberies were down by between 4 and 5% in the first 4 months of the year.
People just chilling now.
To people out there that think that marijuana induces crime, you've never smoked weed in your life.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do when you're high is go rob someone. Or any crime.
Just moving in general becomes an obstacle.
Christ.
Everything, you don't understand. You trip over everything, maneuvering things, opening a bottle of something will probably lead to you spilling it somewhere. As soon as you've got to use a smidgen of dexterity. If you know,
and how
depending how good the shit is, so the last thing you want to do is start fucking jumbling around.
When's
with
the last time you got angry when you were high at someone? You get angry when you're high?
Not really.
Fuck, man. Everything in my brain, I'm so concentrated on what's going on in here when I'm high, and I don't give a fuck what you do outside here. And it's like, ugh.
No, I get worked up. I'll rant about stuff like we'll do here, right? I mean, a lot of my rants do generate from me smoking and then reading the news, right? And it's like,
I think because it exposes all the bullshit in the news.
But no, verbally and out loud, no, I'm not I definitely don't get angry.
God damn. You know, this will transition into one topic I wanted to talk about. And I was afraid to talk about it because this is totally weed talk. This is totally like I'm not high right now. I haven't smoked. But I'm about to say something that's going to sound probably totally ridiculous and totally like somebody that's
okay. We've been there and done that many times. This is our 23rd podcast.
I think I've been smoking weed regularly now on weekends, mostly not during the week, but on weekends for a few months now. I hadn't smoked for a long time because I didn't like how I felt on it. I just found, so now I started smoking basically by myself. and controlling the amount of weed that I intake. I don't take a lot, just something to relax myself. I normally do it either to relax or on a Saturday night to enjoy a movie or, with my girlfriend and just sit on the couch when my kids are asleep. Like that's normally how I do it. Once a week, sometimes every 2 weeks. Lately, sometimes I'll do it if I'm sore. As a mixed martial artist, I tend to spend a lot of my time sore from muscle aches and back aches if I tweak a back or my neck, I have problems with my neck and stuff. And it helps because, a few tokes and then I feel fantastic. I'm like, and I sleep better, which helps me recuperate a lot better, which is another plus for marijuana in my book. And I noticed a few things. I find that compared to, I know you smoke and other people smoke, they just tend to, get high. They, lightheadedness, and you just feel like, hey, you're high, And I find that it seems to affect me a lot differently. I think it's because of how I see marijuana. I don't know if it's all mental. It's most likely mental because of the receptors that accepts the
it's
drug.
Not heroin. You do have some sort of
control over it. Exactly. And here's one thing I've noticed. I've been plagued with, I think, which is a concussion in the last week and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a mild concussion. I've lived the last week with massive headaches, and I've been doing mixed martial art. I've been doing this for long enough to know it's happened before. I've been diagnosed with concussions before in MMA or in other sports, and I know what it is. And so I've been having some of the symptoms, and I read online that smoking marijuana can help heal the brain. Okay. Either by just relaxing or by the receptors accepting the drug and helping it heal better. So, I've been trying it out, and I'll be 100% honest, it's really helped. Maybe it's all in my head because I told myself that it was going to help. You know how it's like that placebo effect type thing. But here's the total weed head that probably doesn't make any sense, but I think I personally am starting to believe that that the weed affects me differently depending on the frame of mind that I'm in.
Sure.
Like when I do smoke up, if I'm in a bad mood and if I'm like cranky, if I'm an asshole, basically, the weed is going to kick my ass. It's going to like, you know what? You're an asshole, then you need to like get this shit out. And it just kicks my ass. It's just like, whoa, all of a sudden I go from smoking the same amount and being totally fine to smoking the same amount and being like, holy fuck, like I'm on the moon right now. You know what I mean? And I think it's because of the frame of mind I'm in. I think it kind of goes in and goes, oh shit, there's a lot of shit here you need to work out. Yeah. And you need to like, and then you mentally you start being more paranoid and you're like, oh fuck, and all of a sudden, and after you're done though, after the buzz goes away, you're like, oh fuck, I feel so much better. It acts like a exfoliant. It just gets all that shit out, man.
You're starting to sound like a hippie, dude.
I know. I'm sorry. That's why I didn't want to talk about it. That's totally hippie talk.
Listen, I mean, there's a science to THC and cannabinoids.
That's the cannabinoid receptors in your head. Yeah. How funny is it that we actually have receptors on our brain for cannabis? They're called cannabinoid receptors. For people that don't know this, you go Google, research it. When you smoke marijuana, we have receptors that accept that drug, that THC, and that makes you feel high and that makes you feel good. And that's a good thing about the medical part of it, is that's how your body heals you. That's how medical marijuana heals you. Even cancer, it's been proven on paper to shrink tumors and cancer cells and stuff like that. And to me, it blows my mind that people just seem to refute it just because, it opens up your mind as well. And I think it opens up your mind to all the bullshit. To me, that's what it does. Anyway.
As humans, we will always be scared of what we do not know. And 90% of the people that are hardcore anti-pot advocates have probably never smoked a joint in their lives.
If they did, they'd change their tune in a minute. Yeah. Do you think? They'd be like, my God, I didn't even know, man.
What was I thinking?
Give me more of that weed, man. But I think people are so afraid of what they're going to discover while they're high. Because if you're really an asshole, if you're a bad person, if you smoke weed,
You'll probably figure it out.
you'll be like, oh my God, how have I been living as such an... You'll be exposed so fast. You can't hide anything on weed. You can't. If you're an asshole, that shit will come out on the surface and you'll look at yourself and go, oh my God. And then for the days following after you're high, you'll be like, oh my God, I've been living my life like I've been an asshole for all these times, and this I've been exposed now. Now I have to deal with it. I think people just don't want to deal with it. I think that's what it is. I think people are like, probably I am an asshole. I just don't want to deal with the fact that I am an asshole.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to keep being an
That's
asshole.
it. You don't want your eyes to be open. Now, who's the hippie? But it's funny. I'm reading up on this as we're talking, but I mean, the facts are there right here. Studies show THC reduces neuroinflammation and stimulates neurogenesis. So, like neurons and
Instead of
building.
burning cells,
They're
it's
building.
actually building cells,
building
creating
cells, neural stem cells, all this good stuff that you need.
Fuck, man. And I feel so much better if I really like. You don't get hungover. You can smoke weed if you don't drink.
No, you're maybe drowsy. You
The
know,
next
some
day you're
people, it's
like-
like, oh, that weed was too strong. I don't like smoking that strand of weed before bed because I wake up feeling a little drowsy. Okay, that's
Yeah,
about
but
as bad as it gets.
How long are you going to be drowsy? After a while, it goes away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like hungover where it lasts till
No,
4
we're
in the
lasting the
afternoon.
entire fucking day like me last week.
Yeah. Were you hungover? Yeah, because of the wedding.
Oh, dude, after the podcast, and it was a long one too. We were here for 2.5 hours. It helped though. I sweated out a bit.
Yeah.
And then I needed some greasy food, right, to fucking cure the hangover. Went and got some Dick Ends. Hadn't had that in a while.
Oh,
2
Dick
fucking cheeseburgers.
Ends.
I got home. I watched the X-Men movie, and I passed out. And I slept for about 13 hours.
Did you? Which X-Men movie?
The latest one there, Days of Future Past.
Is it good?
Fucking awesome.
Is it really?
Yeah, really loving the new X-Men. I mean, ever since, X-Men 3 has pretty much been the only, and the first Wolverine one. Those are like the only 2 really bad X-Men movies, I find.
What was the X-Men 3?
The Last Stand.
Was it the one where they fight in San Francisco?
Yeah, it's just a mess, yeah. The big epic finale at the end.
The woman comes back from...
Jean Grey ends up killing the professor and shit at the end, no? Isn't that how it happened?
Yeah, but she comes back because she wasn't in the second one because she dies in the first one.
Yeah, and she becomes the Phoenix or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, not so good. Forget about that one.
I think
'Cause
the
first two were
X-Men
great.
series got lost after the first one.
Well, Bryan Singer, first of all, was the man behind the first 2. I think he
He
directed
did the
both.
second one, but the second one was...
I really like the second one, actually. I like the
Just the
second one
second.
more. Think about it. That's the one where a Nightcrawler attacks the White
yes,
House.
that's the
right?
that's the best one.
That's
one.
the best one. Then the third one,
third
Brett
one was
Ratner
horrible.
came around. Brett Ratner of Rush Hour fame.
He ruined that franchise.
Disgusting.
Yeah, he
But no,
definitely
I'm back
ruined
on
that
track
franchise.
now. Like
The
new X-Men.
every movie, including like Planet of the Apes, where they kind of rebooted and then added like prequels.
Yeah.
They've done such an amazing job now with the technology and with everything included. Man, those movies look amazing.
They're remaking another Final Four movie. Fantastic Four. Final Four. Fantastic Four. They're making another one. They're rebooting the series again.
From the beginning.
They're doing it over again
With
because
new
it
actors?
sucked the last time.
I've never been a fan. I've never seen any of those movies.
I watched the first one. I didn't watch the one with the Silver Surfer because the first fucking Fantastic Four was so fucking bad.
I just found that I saw a little bit and I found the actors were horrible. I'm like,
Jessica Alba, can she stop acting, please? Can we just give her silent roles first of all?
just how about she just takes pictures? How about that?
Yeah, even Michael Chiklis, who I love, fucking,
The guy from the Shield, yeah.
Mackie, the fucking man. And they had him as the Thing, and it was just, woe is me, I'm a big rock man. My wife doesn't love me anymore. Boo-hoo. Fuck off! That sucks! I hated it. Sorry.
It's all right.
There's my rant for the day.
Did you see? Have you watched The Watchmen? I mean,
Yeah, Watchmen was cool.
I've never watched
It was a little long. And it's not like I was I
wasn't
no
a
idea
fan
what the
of the
Watchmen,
comics,
I had
so-
no idea what they were before they talked about making a movie. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy, though I really want to see that.
Yeah.
That movie looks awesome.
But it's Marvel.
But
I'm a
another one
fan
out
of
the
Marvel comics.
universe. Yeah, Marvel.
I'm
was just,
less of a fan of DC Comics. I like Batman.
love Batman. Batman's my favorite superhero. I mean, how can you go wrong with a guy who doesn't actually have any superpowers?
I like Iron Man. Iron Man doesn't have superpowers.
No superpowers either. That's
But
true.
he's smart.
But he's smart like that, man.
Iron Man is my favorite
Yeah,
superhero.
I think we've had this discussion.
Yes.
Either that or it was,
like
or
the
it was
first
with your
couple of
son. I can't remember.
my 5-year-old son. My 5-year-old son's favorite is probably right now. He was big in Spider-Man for a while.
Yeah.
He discovered Spider-Man, the Hulk as well.
Yeah. I remember last time he was saying Iron Man was his favorite.
Because it was my favorite.
Because he was yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing with colors.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
your favorite color? It's orange. Why? Because it's my favorite color.
Oh.
It's the same thing. But he has I like blue and yellow as well. But it's orange. Like he changes every week. It's like today my favorite color is blue. My fucking son is going to school in September.
Oh, first grade
in 2
or
weeks.
kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
Okay.
But it's still big boy school.
Well, that's it. Big boy school. Yeah. They still get naps in kindergarten?
Yes.
We were supposed to have naps when I was in kindergarten. I don't remember one nap. We had cubby holes with our blankets and everything. What a sham that was.
I remember kindergarten, and it's fucked up because I look at my son and I'm like, damn, you're like, you're 5. You're going to be 6 years old. I have a daughter that's 6 months old, and then you're going to school. And I talk to my son now, and I'm like, holy fuck, you have like a point of view. You have an opinion. You actually make decisions. Like, fuck, I made that. You came from my balls, man. What the fuck? It blows my mind. It blows my mind because I look at him and he's so smart. Like, he's so fucking smart that I try to remember when I was 6 years old, like even if it's just a glimpse of a memory, and I'm like, there's no way. I mean, I'm not saying I'm stupid, but I don't think there's any way I was as smart as he is. Mm-hmm. If I go back in time and you gave me an iPad when I was 6 years old, I'd probably shit my pants because I probably could not. It would take me forever to figure it out.
You figured out how to play your Nintendo games, right?
True, but there was 2 buttons.
Yeah.
2 buttons and a
But if there were 4, you would have figured out how to use the fourth, the third.
You know what? I
one.
guess you're right. I never really saw it that way.
It's just
not just with the iPad, but it's the fact that
I know what you mean, though.
The fact that I'm not saying at 6 or at 5 he's the most articulate person, but he says words that I'm like, how do you fucking know? Where did you learn this word? He says this word, I fucking forget. He uses it all the time. Defeated. We were watching The Incredibles last night. You remember that movie? We've had that movie for a long time. I bought it when he was a kid, where he could barely, like, just for color, watching it just for color, not for the story. Now he's old enough, he watches the movie for the stories and stuff. And for some reason, he never got into Incredibles. And then last night, he's like, I'm going to watch it. I'm like, you got to watch it. It's superhero. It's super cool. You got to watch it. Now it's his favorite movie. And he's like, oh, the bad guy was defeated. I'm like, he's used this before. Defeated. Think about that. Where the fuck did you learn the word defeated? Yeah. And he uses it in the right context perfectly. He was beaten. I would use if I was 6. I still use that. I don't even use defeated. I'm 33 years old. He's like, oh, they defeated the bad guy. I'm like, how the fuck do you know what it means? I don't use defeated. So at a certain point, you saw defeated, you heard it, and you're like, oh, that's what it means. And synapses in your brain figure it out. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. He knows, he can count to like 40. He knows his alphabet in French and English. He writes his name. He writes my name. He writes his mom's name, first, last, middle name. Like, it just, boom. I look at him and I'm like, holy fuck. When you're 15, you're gonna, like, if it keeps escalating, it's just gonna expand. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to have to be around. I'm not even going to have to work when you're like 12. I'm like, you're on your own. Like, you know, and I just hope that it just keeps going like that.
Well, that's the goal, man. You want to raise a kid so good that when he gets old enough to be complicated, he can just figure it out on his own. He's like a butterfly.
Throw him off the balcony. All right, here you go. Here's life, you know? But then again, then I look at him and he does things that are so fucking stupid. I'm like, oh my God. No, you're still a kid. All that ride and yeah. I forget you're 5. I forget.
Yeah, it's 5. Like, no, don't try to jam your fist up your nostril.
Yeah. It's just like, he always has his hands down his pants.
Dude, I saw some guy walking on the street last night. My brother was like that, by the way. Hi, Jeff. When he was a kid, always had his hands in his pants. There's some dude, a grown adult, he's walking down the street. I'm on Sherbrooke. And the dude literally Not his hands aren't in his pocket. They're straight up in his crotch. I'm like,
Just scratching or adjusting?
Just hanging out.
Oh, just like that.
Just his hands in there. That's where it is.
Ew.
He's walking down the street with his buddy like that. I'm like, you fucking for like.
Were they holding hands?
No, he was kind of like gangster looking, No, I was like, Jesus, dude. Like, did your mom never tell you to stop doing that? Like that guy just never learned, and nobody's had the heart to tell him that because he's 22 years old. It's like.
You don't have to hold your dick all day.
Like,
what?
What?
No,
but he's my
fall.
fireman. But it's my fire hose. I'm the fireman. That's my fire hose.
This is all over the place. He's like a dog. He's like, that's mine. That's mine.
That's mine.
Just whips it out every time. You want to hear the freakiest thing? When I went back on vacation, my grandfather passed away in February, and my grandma passed away the year before. So my uncle took over the house where they were living. He got the house, so he moved in. So there was a lot of my stuff still there, and a lot of my grandparents' stuff and stuff when I grew up in the house. And there's one thing that I wanted from all. I didn't want anything else. I had a lot of shit that I just said, just throw it away. I said, I don't use it. And there's one thing that I wanted that my grandparents had that I remember as a kid because of the memory it led. They had this old reel-to-reel projector.
Nice, yeah.
And they had these cameras, the Super 8 cameras. I got 2 here, and they had 2 projectors. I only thought they had 1, but I ended up with 2 projectors, 2 Super 8 cameras, and a bunch of reels.
Okay.
And I finally brought. Last year when I went, I brought back one of the reel-to-reel projectors, but I didn't get any of the reels, so I didn't have anything to play. So this time around, I came back. I brought a second reel-to-reel projector, and I brought all the reel-to-reels that my grandparents had recorded through the years from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, basically. And I'm actually on some of those reel-to-reel, and it's the weirdest thing. So last week I got it. I plugged it in last Sunday, and we ended up, me and my girlfriend, on the wall watching about an hour, 2 hours of the stuff. I figured out how it worked, and finally worked. And I saw some of myself when I was about my son's age on there. And my girlfriend was blown away. And I was too, because I was watching myself, but it was exactly my son.
Really?
It's like I created the duplicate. Not just the way I looked, but the mannerism. Because there's no voice on the reel-to-reel. There's no sound. So I'm just looking at videos. And the way I moved, the way I ran, the way I gestured, my girlfriend was like, oh my God, that's Caden. That's your son right there. Do you realize that? It blew me away. It blew me away that genetically we are so fucking similar. You've seen my son. He looks exactly like I could show you a picture of, I have a bunch of pictures of when I'm his age. Yeah. Dude, it's ridiculous. But anyway, the reel-to-reel were cool. I saw my grandparents when they were super young on vacation in Maine, and they were shooting stuff. So now I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to take one of the cameras that we used for the podcast, and I'm going to shoot it on a big screen. I'm going to try to record it digitally and then crop it out so that it doesn't look like it's on the screen. And then so I could put it online. Cool. Those reel-to-reels are old as fuck, you know? Man. They apparently dry out after a while, but we've had them for over 30 years, and they still all work. And I have some old Abbott and Costello reel-to-reel where you just put it and it's just like cartoons and videos and stuff. It still works. It's amazing. But I'm like, oh, maybe this is worth like a fortune, you know, antiques and stuff. Yeah, it's not worth much.
eBay,
no, Super 8 cameras and projectors are $80 at worst, at most. Which is not, I thought I would be sitting on a gold mine, but not really. So yeah, an hour and 23 minutes. You can call it quits.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take some sun, do some swimming. You know, I've been swimming all of once this year, this summer, once, and I think I spent all of maybe 5 minutes in the pool.
Ugh.
Went over to visit my friend who just had a newborn. So went in the pool with him and his older daughter, the oldest of the 2 siblings, his daughter. It was funny. She sounds like a little Acadian, actually, because they're doing a lot of the, bilingual families, right? Like my cousin does the same thing. Dad speaks in French, mom speaks in English.
Oh, okay.
Because she's English first and he's French first. And so the kid now sounds like a little Acadian.
Yeah.
Ma pool.
Ma pool.
Viens dans ma pool.
half word French, half in English.
That's how she goes, and she knows her colors only in English so far. So it's like, je préfère orange.
Orange, yeah, that's totally.
So
Acadian.
yeah, she said they're raising a little Acadian. Pretty
That's
funny.
That's cool. Yeah, I haven't spent on vacation. We went kayaking, me and Mike, on the water, but pool wise this year, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time in the pool. I did get some color when I was on vacation.
Yeah.
Most likely, if you look at my arms, they're pretty much the same now. But when I came back from vacation, because of how I drive like this, this arm was black. This was tan, but not as black. You could definitely see the difference if I went like this. You know?
No,
Like,
definitely.
Yeah, so it was even worse 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I haven't been in many pools, so it's a nice day outside.
Yeah,
so.
I'll take advantage. Dave and Tucci, they're the first of the group to actually own a house, right? I mean, you've had a condo. Mike's had a condo.
Yeah.
Nobody's actually had a house. So
Fuck, we're grown up.
we're grown up now, having a kid, another kid on the way. Everyone's having kids in houses, and I'm smoking and playing PlayStation.
So, dude, I'll trade that. You want to trade? Trade places. We'll make a movie. I smoke weed and play PlayStation, and I have kids. How you doing? You want to play PlayStation? My son, he doesn't know how to play with the thing yet, so he tells, it's like, you want to play? Can you play the game?
He likes to
So
watch
he
you
just
play.
watches it.
Yeah, it's like a
How about the
cartoon.
Lego movie, the Lego Marvel one? He likes the Marvel superheroes.
Yeah.
So I play the Lego one. So yeah, so that's it. Episode 23 of the Modern Maverick Podcast is in the books. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Check us out, www.modernmaverick.net. That's www.modernmaverick.net. You can check me out on the Twitter at Steph Paulin, StepHPaulin, and my boy here on Twitter, JFlynn MTL, JFLYNNMTL. And on Facebook, check us our page. Please like our page on Facebook, The Modern Maverick. That's facebook.com/The Modern Maverick.
And subscribe on the YouTubing.
And please subscribe on the YouTube at just go Modern Maverick, and you'll see one of our videos that I posted. Just subscribe to our channel.
There you go.
So that's it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for our listeners. And we'll be back next week with a new episode of the Modern Maverick Podcast. Have a good week. Ciao.
Keep dumping those buckets of ice, people.
Hell yeah.